In the last video, we looked at how you can create a prescription record in Dawn and use that to produce a hard copy prescription with the correct template for the home care company and the drug, and all the patient and doctor and drug details automatically mail merged in. We also looked at the different statuses that a prescription can have, from being active to being pending, meaning pending renewal, to being with the prescriber, and then finally being issued, although we didn't go as far as issuing it. What we're going to do in this video is look at how you can use Dawn to track which prescriptions are coming up for renewal, which are partway through the renewal process and who they're with, and then how you can issue a prescription within Dawn. So one of the first things you might notice is when you're on the home screen here, we have a new dashboard panel for prescriptions, and that's got counts in it for things like due for renewal in the next 6 weeks, issued in the last 7 days, on hold, etc. So let's have a look at the top one, due for renewal in the next 6 weeks. And that takes us to the corresponding prescriptions list view, and that's set to show us everybody who's due for renewal soon. We can see it's actually grouped by status, so these are the people we haven't started the renewal process with yet. Their current prescription is still active. Okay, we've got one person on hold, and we'll have a look at that in a moment, and then we have a whole load with the department, possibly waiting test results or other things, and then we have a few at the bottom which we've already printed the prescription for and passed it to the prescriber. So they're now sitting with the prescriber. So let's start with one of these. It's possible that we've heard back from the prescriber now, we've got the hard copy back and it's been signed, everything's good, and we're now at the stage we want to issue that and send it to pharmacy, who will validate it and send it on to the home care company. So this is the final step in the process. I press issue, confirm OK that I want to do that, and there we go. It's now been issued. It's filled in the renewal date as another 24 weeks from today, and the last script date as today. These dates are editable if for any reason we're kind of backfilling it and that was actually done yesterday or last week. We can amend those as necessary. But what we might find is that over time doses change, possibly medicinal forms change, other requirements change. So the patient is carrying on with this prescription, but details have changed from one issue to the next. What we can do is, of course, we can change things on here, but then we could lose sight of what had been actually issued before or prescribed before. Well, that doesn't happen, because in a similar to way that patient drugs, you can now keep a full drug history. This fulfillments tab, when we press the issue button, automatically copies all of the information from the prescription to this prescription fulfillment record, and that doesn't change. So if next time the consultant wants us to change the dose, and we do that on the kind of prescription that's rolling forward, when we issue it, a copy of a snapshot of that, if you like, is then stored to this fulfillment history. So every time we issue a prescription, we get a new record in here with what these details were at the time. So let's return to our list view, and we can see that our test patient Digby has disappeared out of the with prescriber list, and it's back to being active, but of course it's not showing here because these are only people coming up to their renewal date. So let's take one of these now, and we can see their prescription is still active. What we want to do is begin the process of renewing that. So the first thing I do is press the renewal button, and that changes the status to pending, so they'll now be in that other grouping on the list view. I may need to change the prescription status this time, check the other details, but if it's still 24 weeks with home deliveries every 8 weeks, that's fine. Or if we're changing that this time to 12, we can do that. Dosage, again, if we have changed the dosage on the underlying patient drug, let's see what would happen. Just use this blue arrow to click through to the patient record and click on the medication, and what we're going to do is change the dose, and this is something we did in a previous video, but that's what we'll do again now. We're going to put the start date back a few days. Perhaps we're backfilling what the consultant asked us to do. And what we can see here, we've got all the current dose is here, and perhaps we're stepping this up to every week. So 40 milligrams once a week, and the medicinal form and route remain the same. So what's going to happen, this information here, that's the dose they're on at the minute, is going to get saved as a history record, and this will replace this on the current dose record. So let's do that. And I can see down here I'm getting an error that is telling me I must provide a start date for the current dose. Once you're up and running with this, you should never see this problem because it will all come through automatically. When you first upgrade, existing drug information won't have a dose start date, only a drug start date. So you might need to fill that in. So let's put that in there, and then I press update again. And again, it's checking that I've put everything I've done has made sense. If you remember, we changed this start date for the new drug to put it back a few days, but what we didn't do is change the end date of the old dose. So we need to put that back to be at least before the start of the new dose. Okay, so I'm going to press the update button now. That's slightly off your screen. It's just down at the bottom there. I'm going to press update, and there we go. What we have is the new dose showing here, but the older dose has been recorded in the history here. Were we to change the dose again, we'd get another record added to the history to keep a log of what the dose was before. But now, if we go back to the prescription record, what it's showing me when I come onto the dose is it's immediately telling me that the dose on the prescription does not match what's on the patient drug. Now, this may be the case. It might be that the consultant decides to change the dose, but the dose is, you don't need to issue a new prescription straight away, because the tablets or the pens or whatever that the patient has, they can achieve that dose with what they have. So it's just when it comes up to renewal that you will then want to update the ongoing prescription record with the new dose from the drug. And I can do that very easily just by pressing the populate from patient drug. That's pulled that through. That now matches, and that red warning has gone away. So just as we did in the last video, I can go ahead and print the prescription and pass the prescription to the prescriber. I have this set up so it will actually print the prescription automatically when I press that button. So I can go and collect that from the printer, and now this record is sitting with the prescriber. So we go back to our list view and scroll down to see that section, and they've moved straight into there. We do have one that's on hold, so let's have a look at that. Okay, we can see this is pending further investigations. We're waiting for a consultant decision as to whether they're going to continue on this drug. So if they've decided they're not, and we're going to stop the prescription, I can press stop here. If they are continuing, I can press renew. The hold reason disappears when they're not on hold. It's just to free up other space to display other stuff without scrolling so far. And the status is back to pending. It's with us. We can print the prescription and pass that to the prescriber. If for any reason it comes back from the prescriber and there's more work to do, we actually got tests that we need to follow up on, or there's more information, I can press prepare. That just puts it back to pending. So pending is kind of with the department or with prescriber. Stop to stop it. If I've actually done this too early and I want to put them back to active, I can just press reactivate, renew. Takes them back to pending. So we can move through these statuses till we're ready to issue, and at that point it will move our renewal date and last script date on and create a record in the fulfillment tab with all the details of the prescription as it is at the point we issue it this time. We're taking issue to mean the point really that you pass it to pharmacy. It's kind of left your hands. It goes for clinical validation and then they pass it on to the home care company, and you possibly don't know when that happens. If you have got a pharmacist who logs into Dawn, you can, under the disease area setting, you can have an extra step here which is pass to pharmacy, which is very like pass to prescriber, but you just know it's sitting with pharmacy. What you then need is somebody from the pharmacy to press the issue button at the point they truly pass it to the home care company. I think for most of you that won't be the case, so we're assuming you want to treat issue as when it's issued to pharmacy, but you do have that choice. Finally, if I return to my home page, we can see the next filter here is issued in the last 7 days. So if you want to find a prescription you've just recently issued, here we go. These are the two we've just done. I can click on here and it will take me straight to it. Or I can change the date settings here to look for a different date range or a specific